Everyone's favorite question. What do you do for a living? All right, what do I do for a living? I'm 34 years old and I've been an educator for about 10 years. Make that 11 this year. I've been mostly in elementary education. I've done third grade. I'm moving on to second grade because I kind of need a change. I've done third grade for quite a while. Many years ago, a few 100 pounds ago, I was a PE teacher and I was also a computer lab teacher as well. But I would say I started my career about 2009, 2010. And I just got my master's a few years ago to be an administrator if I so choose to do so, which by all means, I do not see myself being a principal anywhere in the future. So don't think I'm balling because I'm not. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most and 1 being the least, how would you rate your love of cars? My love of cars, I would say it's pretty up there. It's about an 8 or a 9. I did a auto shop in high school, and between Fast and the Furious and my mom's 2000 Accord V6 and, those really cool things in the early to mid 2000s, I'd say that kept my affinity with cars pretty high throughout these years. If you had to choose one, are cars more for pleasure or commuting? Cars for pleasure or commuting? I'd say they're mostly for pleasure. I would like to think so. I did this question because in AAA, I have AAA insurance, and they ask you if your car is for pleasure or for commuting. And most of my cars are marked pleasure, and I have one commuter daily. And, especially being in Southern California, you need to commute to work, usually with public transportation, not the best. So I would like to hope that more people enjoy or find pleasure in their driver or relaxment or something of that nature. Did you ever play with Hot Wheels as a kid? And if so, did you have a favorite you can think of? Play Hot Wheels as a kid. Yes, I did play with Hot Wheels as a kid. That didn't necessarily affect how much I love cars, but I specifically remember what I used to do with the Hot Wheels. We used to have a cardboard box just full of random Hot Wheels. I was the youngest of 2 older brothers. So I'm sure they collected Hot Wheels throughout the years. And what I would do as a kid, while my mom was asleep or dad was out to work or whatnot, I would get all the Hot Wheels, the handfuls of them, I'm telling you. I'd go to the kitchen and I'd line up one side and a bunch of them on the other side. And, on the count of 3, I would just start launching them just from one end to the other, just room, right across the kitchen tile, just like a mosh pit derby. And so that's my experience with Hot Wheels. I used and abused them. And now they're all this collector stuff. And I don't get it, man. Some people are spending thousands of dollars on a Hot Wheel, and it's mystifying to me because I used to just thrash them, man. Growing up, what did your parents drive? What car took you to school? Do you think that had an impact on how you view your affinity, if any, towards cars? Cars growing up. So my parents had a Thunderbird, like a 92 Thunderbird with a V8. That was pretty cool. 2-door coupe. They had all 3 of us and 2 in the front. So that was cool growing up. We had an 88 Ford Aerostar. That was pretty cool, I guess. It's a van on a truck platform, but transmission went out on that and gear started to slip and the AC stopped working, and it was your typical blue oval Ford of the late 80s. Then, like I said, we had a 95 Ford Aerostar, or Windstar, and that was a hunk of junk. Head gasket went out like 2 times on that. That was terrible. Although it was really cool. It had the AC vents on the roof. I liked that. I remember that as a kid. And then that's when my mom switched over to Honda's 2000 Accord V6. She liked it so much. A couple years later, they got a 2003 Accord V6. And then they got a 2006 Civic Hybrid. Dad still uses that thing. That thing is awful, but he still uses it. And then my mom currently has a 2011 Ford Edge Sport. No big deal, right? V6. And she went back to Blue Oval. And honestly, that thing has been decently reliable. There was that issue with like the ECU under the like the intake manifold or something, and then the coils would have a short and burn out the ECU, or there was something weird like that with those Edge V6s. That's probably been like the most catastrophic thing that's ever happened to that, because everything else runs. She's had it pretty well with that car. Very reliable. Not gonna lie. Let's talk about your car or cars. What is it? Your rides. Oh, well, glad you asked. I have a 1996 Nissan 240 SX. I kept that and did not buy it when it all became cool. I still have it, and people jock on it. I have no idea why, because the thing is like a beater missile car that, I put a Tomei two-way and just do donuts and all this crazy nonsense in it. But people, I rolled my own fenders. But people jock on it, dude. They want that thing, and it's so funny because to me it's just a beater. It still has the KA in it. I like the KA. I don't know. Everyone wants the SR. I'd keep a KA and build the whole block and do a KAT if I wanted to put in money in that. I have a 2003 Accord, not Accord, S2000. There's a difference there. AP1, that's what I meant to say. AP1 S2000, 2003. I got that as a graduation gift for myself when I graduated with my master's. And that was right before this, again, another craziness market, man. I got it for 17 and it's super clean. It does have miles. It has like 83,000 miles on it, but the paint, no rust. It's an immaculate condition, and I got it for 17. So I was really proud of that because now you can sell it for a lot more. I have my daily is a 2000 Nissan Frontier V6 manual transmission. I love that thing. It's dead reliable. I've had to put some money into it, but nothing beyond, craziness. We'll do a timing belt next year, but that thing has 225,000 miles. I got it from a couple out in the Orange County area, and that thing is dead. Take it to work every day. And then my pride and joy I recently acquired back in early March, 2021 LC500 convertible. So yeah, those are my rides. Were you able to select the color? What color would you rather have? Color. Funny. Everything I have is like a yellow, and it's strange to think that I'm not really a yellow fan. I like bright colors. I like red. I like orange. I guess yellow. I like bright colors, and I got the S2000 in yellow. I kind of wanted Suzuka blue, but I got it in a spa yellow pearl, and it just looks really good in yellow. And so I already have the gold Nissan 240. So I got the yellow S2000. And then when I saw that truck, when I needed to get a daily, I saw a yellow Nissan Frontier. I was like, oh, I'll get that. And so then I guess I've just kept with the yellow theme. And then when Lexus Escondido had that yellow LC500, I was like, all right, that's it. I got to do it. Why did you choose this car brand? What do you know about it? Your brands. My brands. I always stick with Japanese. Honda, Toyota, Nissan. I would love a German car one day, a Porsche or a BMW, but it's something that I don't have time to tinker and mess around with things and try to figure out problems. 15 years ago, yeah, me and my younger self, still fresh out of, auto shop. I got an internship to work at a Honda dealer. I did that for 3 years. I back then, absolutely, I'd do all my own work and all my own junk. Now, dude, I'm so tired half the time. And I don't want to deal with all the craziness of the German cars. I know that they are decently superior to the Japanese, but it's not in a point in my life where I can have something that's unreliable. Why did you choose this model? What sold you on it? My models. So the 240SX rear wheel drive. It was the base model, so I had to upgrade to 5 lug so I can put a fat tire on it. I put in that 2-way to do donuts, intake headers, exhaust, because I kept the KA with plans of doing a KAT. But again, this is me fresh out of high school. Minimum wage was $6.75 an hour. $7.25. I forgot how much it was back then. And so it's like, when I got to check every check went into that car, and it was dreams of building it. But, there were times where I was like, I got to get to class. It's college, and I needed a reliable car. So I stopped kind of messing with it, and, it's still waiting for me to do whatever it needs to be done. And now that's crazy because you can get 350Zs cheaper than 240SXs. And when I was going to college and high school, 350Z was the car, the thing, and it's just crazy to me. Times they are changing, right? Honda Accord or Honda S2000. I keep calling it an Accord. Honda S2000. I grew up wanting that car. Especially I worked for Honda. I grew up a Honda fanboy, and so when I knew that I got my master's, I knew I'd be making a little more money. I was like, treat yourself, right? So I found a clean AP1, and it was, again, right before these things started just going bonkers with how much they're worth. And I found a clean one because I knew I had to be really careful, how to make sure the hood was aluminum. So I brought a magnet, what is it? I checked the interior because I knew it was going to be all, I didn't want the interior all beat up. And I was happy with that. And then the LC500, obviously. I mean, that thing is just a beast. It's kind of an old man's car, but I have the fun sports car, I have the beater missile, go in the back country and do donuts, so it's like, I need something cruiser, take on a date night kind of car. What was one other car you were shopping for against this one? Why do you think you didn't choose it, and do you regret it? Car shopping and comparing. Like I said, my dream car is a Porsche 911. BMW. I was cross shopping with obviously the new, what is it, the buck teeth BMW. I was looking at those. I was looking at the last generation, the F80, right, and those as well. I wanted a Supra too, and if it was in manual. Now they come in with manual, but back then it wasn't coming with manual. So I was like, I have such respect for the German cars, but it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. Name one thing you absolutely love about this car. Name me one thing you absolutely hate about this car. Love and hate. I love the driving characteristics of all my cars. You know, the 240SX, cheap rear wheel drive, do whatever you want in it, and it'll take the abuse, man. Change out a clutch in 2 days. Everything's easily accessible. I freaking love it, man. I like the rawness of the S2000. It truly is an analog kind of car. No traction control, no nothing. And then the LC, I mean, it's praised for its ride comfort and quality of material and workmanship. And I appreciate it. It's the nicest car I've ever had, you know? But what I hate about the 240 is it's Nissan quality. You know, the clear coats failed on the roof, and you know, there's more rattles and nonsense that I could dare to think about. And this is when Nissan was good. And it's gonna need a lot of work to be like a good resto mod. But indeed, it turns on. I turned it on today. It's fantastic. The S2000, it does signify like early 2000s Honda, like super cheap interior, and the leather quality is, you know, it's subpar, and you know, creaks, rattles, and it's everything, you know, like it's not a, it's a bare bones basic interior. And again, that's what you expect in a Honda S2000. You're lucky you don't have all these tears and craziness in it. But yeah, I mean, it's not a particularly pleasurable car. Like if you want to be, so it's a driver's car. And dude, it's a tight fit in there too. I'm a big boy, but it's a tight fit in there for sure. 240 seems to have more room, and I have a sports bucket seat in that. And then the LC500, like I said, it's not necessarily fast. 471 horsepower is, yeah, but it's a 2-ton car as well. Yeah, it's a GT car. It's not fast. So, is this a car you plan to keep? For how long? Keeping it. Yes, I plan on keeping these cars. If there was any car I'd get rid of, it'd be the 240. I'd find a buyer in a day or two for that 240. But definitely S2000 and the LC500 are gonna be kept. It's only the 240 I'd let go of, because I know that there'd be someone that is gonna do a really good job taking care of it. You know, they're gonna LS swap it, or they're gonna make it a true show car, wide body, this and that. I'd find someone, you know, with the emotional attachment I have with it. I'd find someone that will take really good care of it. In a few words, tell me how you describe it drives. How do these cars drive? Like I said, the 240 is a missile, man, and it does whatever you want it to do. The S2000 is a very unique driving experience. We're lucky to have these mountain roads that head towards the ocean, the highway, the Ortega Highway, and literally, if I wanted to, I'd take the S2000, just drive to and fro, man. It's such a unique driving experience. I really appreciate. And then the LC500, I'm still kind of breaking it in. I kind of drive it like a D, you know, like on the freeway, because I want to ring out the exhaust and I want to hear it all. But I haven't taken it on the Ortegas yet, and I wouldn't drive it as hard as I would the S2000. And I can't forget my Frontier, my little daily Frontier. It's an old school Nissan, but again, it's super reliable. I love the V6. I love the torque, and with the manual in it. And it's a desert runner, so it has a limited slip in the back, so it hooks up, and it's super wallowy. It's the bushings and ball joints are probably beat up in the front. Oh, I put some Bilstein shocks on them, but it's going to need a little more front suspension TLC. I'm not going to lift it or do anything crazy like that because it's my daily, but I appreciate it a lot. I wish the cruise control would work though. Dang it. Do you know what kind of tires are on it? Where do you normally purchase your tires? Tires. I've always loved tires. If I was smart enough to be an engineer, I would have loved to have been a tire engineer. Um, I have some Michelin high, like 800 treadwear tires on the Frontier because, again, that's just my commuter. I've had those tires for already a couple of years, and I measured it out the other day and still have 9/32 on that stuff, dude. That's great. I love those Michelins. The S2000 has the RE71s. It's one of the best tires I've ever felt, man. Better than the Super Sports it had on it for sure, in my opinion. The LC500, obviously, it's new. It has the Bridgestones. It doesn't have the Super Sports, but it has the Bridgestones. What's cool about that tire is that it was designed by Bridgestone for the LC, so it has the little L's on it. I think that's pretty cool. I like it. I think it's like S0001 or 001. I don't know. We'll see. Again, I haven't driven it too hardcore. I don't. There are no Bridgestones by any means, but we'll see about it. I'll probably, if I can get good prices on those Bridgestones. I just like the fact, honestly, that it has little L's on it. I usually get my tires at Costco, so that's where I do my tire shopping when I need tires. And then for the 240, it just has like a generic brand from America Tire because I just needed tires on that thing. Is your car easy to clean? Where do you take your car to be detailed? Easy to clean. Are my cars easy to clean? The LC500 and the S2000 are ceramic pro gold. So they're the ones that go in for once a year, lifetime warranty. It has the Carfax and it was ceramic pro. It makes those things so easy to clean. Paint corrected and cleaned, and it looks. I get compliments all the time for the S2000. But you got to start with a good example. The front bumper has been painted, so I only have 9 out of 10 VINs on the S2000. That's the only kind of flaw because it's really hard to paint match that yellow. But they did as best as they could, I would say. So those are ceramic coated. The daily, dude, I take that through the Arco car wash, with the free vacuum. I don't care too much about that paint, although it looks pretty good. And whoever took care of it before, that thing's had like 7 owners. But they've done a good job. They've taken care of it. And then the 240, like I said, it's just Nissan paint quality, is all beat up. Usually I wash that because it's such a small car. And I'm broken between if I do a resto mod, a part of me wants to keep that gold color. I do want to get it repainted though and get it more like show car looking. But a part of me wants to wrap it yellow, like a Nissan yellow, like the 350Zs that were in yellow. A part of me wants to do that. Just have a whole garage full of yellow. Have you been in an accident in this car? Describe what happened. Accidents. The only accident, knock on wood, I've had was in the 240, and it was in college. And I was waiting for a parking spot, and so I pulled off to the side, but it was like kind of lined off. And then some guy in a Tacoma takes a wide turn and rips the front bumper off my freaking 240. Oh my gosh. That was just heartbreaking, especially as a college kid. My car was everything. Ever since then, it's just, I haven't replaced the bumper. I haven't replaced anything like that. So it has its battle scars, but the bumper still stayed on, thank God. That's the only accident I've had in that. The other cars, again, knock on wood, no accidents. I've been in car accidents in my old car. I used to have a 2011 Mazda 2. I was rear-ended 3 times in that. So, not fun. Definitely not fun. But AAA is taking good care of me. Are you considering an electric car? What makes it appealing or not appealing? Electric cars. How do I feel about electric cars? They're appliances. They're going to be our future appliances. They're going to be all software driven and software updated, and we're going to see people doing donuts, and there's going to be no sound other than the tires squealing. They're amazing cars, and especially living in California in 2035, supposedly we won't be able to buy any new gasoline cars. And so, the future is nigh, and we'll see. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Ionic 5 is super cool. I think obviously everyone's mom has a Tesla around here, but I'm not ready for it, and I want to hold out as long as I can. We'll see. I could change my mind, but I'm going to wait as long as I can. If you could tell all the car makers in the world one thing, what would it be? And if there's one thing I could tell the manufacturers, please, please continue to make fun cars. I know probably by the time I get up there in age, cars are going to be talking to each other. They're going to be connected. Self-driving, like perfectly self-driving, but don't take away the driving experience. Don't take my ability to just go rip it on the Ortegas or take my truck on a nice off-road trail. So that's what I worry about the most, is that they're starting to take away the fun. Please keep fun cars. So I appreciate the interview, Snorlax. And we'll do it again, hopefully with someone other than a Snorlax.